What's going on, Archons? Welcome to this new segment, which is the KeyThoughts, which is kind of like a vlog that I'm going to be doing, talking about my KeyForge, I guess, contemplations over the week, things I've discovered, all those fun things. So yeah, this is the first one that's going to be doing this, and I'm hopefully going to be checking in every week and just kind of see what's going on. First things first, before we get into it, I do have my Patreon up and running. As you know, my Would You Rather, I think I have one more week left of decks, and no, don't really want to spend money on more decks right now. It feels a little overwhelming, so I'm going to evolve that. But if you do like what I'm doing and wish to support, my Patreon is definitely the best way, and you can find a link in the comments if you wish to contribute there. I just appreciate people tuning in and commenting, but if you want to go a bit further, that's a fantastic way. So first things up I have is there was a SAS update this past weekend, and gotta say the SAS for me has always been something that I find is a interesting topic. I think too many people rely on it as their main reason of figuring out if a deck is good or not, and sometimes just saying a deck is amazing or a deck is trash just based on that number. I don't always know that's a good thing. But one thing I do like to see is with the SAS is when we get updates, we obviously see some decks fluctuate, some jump up, some drop down, and then some don't change at all. And I've kind of realized that I think I'm the most interested in these decks that are never changing in the score and seeing which ones those are, because either like what is causing the score to change? Obviously it's individual card ratings. And when things are staying the same, that means that's a consistent deck that has been proven to have what it contains, and nothing's really changing in that sense. So nothing has happened. So that could maybe be a meta shift. Certain cards are becoming more potent now. So sometimes that's also a reason to look at those changes and see what's in store. So with that in mind, there was also the meta stat added to decks, which means certain things that I guess are relating to what's very potent in the current meta are there. I don't know the full extent to what that's going to mean, but it's interesting that that exists, and I'm interested in it as it evolves over time. So as we get new updates, things like that, I'm really curious to see how those kind of shape up and pan out. So as of right now, it's just kind of the first iteration of this. I'm really curious to see how that's going to update as we go. And of course, with all of these SAS updates, you're getting decks that are potentially falling by the wayside. Now, for me, I'm calling these the gems. The decks that are not showing up in the SAS, but you've maybe played and think are fantastic, you see success with. I really absolutely love those decks. I have one that dropped below 70 that I just love. I can understand why. Like, it's really strong, but I don't know if I would call it like the extra saucy. But it is a fantastic deck, and I love playing it. And I think that at the end of the day, may be the most important thing. Next week, I'm going to probably get into deck value and not talking money. So with that in mind, I'm kind of on a mission now, trying to look for these decks that are in my SAS and have a score that's maybe not top tier, but it's being overlooked by SAS, and it's actually really solid. I know some people who are actually pretty much, I think everyone has a deck or two that falls into this, but I feel like I'm on a mission now to find these. So it's going to take my own ability to identify, I guess, the way the deck works, what I like about it, and why I think it performs above its weight class. That's really the thing that I'm most interested in right now. I'm kind of like on this mission, want to find it. I can say that I have seen two decks go to my top of my SAS, and they happen to be my two strongest decks. Well, one is not tested, but I have a feeling it's going to be really strong. But another one, it jumped up to be the top deck, and it was, I think, second or third before. And it's honestly like spot on. Like, this deck just did punishing things, and I really enjoyed playing it. So it goes both ways. I think the most dangerous sector of SAS is in the mid 70s. I think that is where the real danger is, where the decks are not actually potentially that strong, but they kind of look strong, and they got numbers that make it feel that way. So that's the one I'm the most wary of. Right now for these gems, I think I'm looking at anything that's in the mid to high 60s, potentially low 70s. I think that's where you're going to find the diamonds in the rough, so to speak. So that's my mission right now. I'm trying to find those decks, get those 10 games. I don't know if I'm going to do a deck quest with it necessarily, but just my own research. And if you're jamming games like this, like for me, I'm always using my phone, using the Master Vault app, and putting everything in, like all my records. I always record that stuff. I find like the best tool for that is just having the record of your games played in there, and whether they're wins or losses, all that sort of good stuff. But I'm also starting to use a good old pen and paper just to note down things with a deck as I play. I think note taking and just being aware of things your deck is doing or not doing is really good when you're trying to find these gems. Like this is going to really bring out, are you having trouble forging keys? Are there certain sets that you notice you're losing to all the time? Because certain sets are going to have certain archetypes that are going to shine more so than others. Maybe note down those as well. So come up with like a list of things that you find for these decks that you really like, that maybe give you the information to find, and just test, like find out those decks, like go for those search. We all have so many decks now, I feel that it's time to start finding where the true ones lie that have been maybe overlooked by just going by the numbers. So hope this was enlightening for some people and informative for others. And yeah, just let me know what you think of this idea, and next week I'll get back to you with my next thoughts. And of course, please check out my stream tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. Did my Would You Rather video yesterday, and got a real spicy deck in there that I'm excited to play, probably more than just the normal 2 times. That one's going to get some heavy testing tonight, and I think people will be excited to see that. So, as always, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged properly. Have a good one.